expect little babies to cry. But even in this politically correct world we live in now, you gotta admit it's still a little weird when a grown man starts wailing. But it got us thinking here at Dolcefino Consulting. We often deal with public servants who start whining like little babies when we dare to fight for your public right to know. So we had a brainstorm. How about an award for the government crybaby of the moment? We even designed a trophy. We put a baby's face on it, of course. So who's the inaugural winner of the Dolcefino Consulting Crybaby Award? It's Ronnie Wall, Senior Associate General Counsel for Texas Tech University System. You pay him $112,900, by the way, and we're not surprised Ronnie Wall isn't such a big fan of our work, because we've dared to try to get Texas Tech to finally admit the truth about the firing of former coach Mike Leach. What's the big secret anymore? It's been 10 years. Why are they still hiding the records? We already know Tech lied when they promised fans a full investigation back then, and we know they destroyed some of the records, even if the hometown DA doesn't care. Tech has tried to scare us off by trying to illegally charge us more than $420,000, almost $500,000, just to look at public records. We've complained to the Texas Attorney General. But we're not holding our breath because Ken Paxton is helping Tech hide public records. The Attorney General is their lawyer. Boy, that's not a conflict. So he's like the fox, and Texas Tech, well, they're the henhouse he's guarding. Wall's new legal brief to the Texas Attorney General has now given birth to our first Crybaby Award. Quoting, TTU can now reasonably assume that the purpose of every request from this requester, he means me, is to gain records that can be used to file a lawsuit on behalf of Mike Leach, possibly by reviving his lawsuit through the legislature or on behalf of some other current or former employee. Wait a second. Is Mr. Wall confessing something? Because let's think this through logically. They even understand this in Lubbock. If there's nothing to hide in the records, how could turning them over possibly help Coach Leach?
At this hour, we have some breaking news on SportsCenter. Texas Tech coach Mike Leach has been fired.
Coach Leach didn't lose his lawsuit because he wasn't cheated. He lost it on a technicality. Texas is the only state in the entire country where you can't sue the government when they rip you off. It's a 100-year-old law, and it's dumb because all it does is legalize the state getting to cheat the taxpayers. That's not fair. Wall obviously keeps tabs on us, so he knows that I think Mike Leach should have been paid a long time ago for what he's owed. We've spent more than a year and a half in court simply fighting for your right to know the truth. But Tech could have avoided the whole thing by simply releasing the records. What are they hiding?
For 18 months, we've been chasing our tails trying to figure out where the documents are, what they have, what they're hiding.
Here's another quote from Mr. Wall. Initially, they took this threat as hyperbole, but has recently learned that the requester is working with disgruntled current former employees to further pressure TTU administration to settle with Mike Leach, in a case for which there neither is nor was any legal reason to pay. Okay, you got me, Mr. Wall. It is true that current and former employees of Texas Tech have come to us to detail misconduct at the school, even allegations that grants were misused. We've asked for the completed investigations you guys supposedly did, if you really did them, and guess what? You're hiding that too. Here's more from Mr. Wall. While the requester is not an attorney, again me, his actions on behalf of Mike Leach and other disgruntled current or former employees, combined with his requisite ability and previous actions to file suit, are the same as if he were an attorney reaching out to threaten a suit on behalf of his client.
You like me right now. You like me.
Great win for Mike Leach. 7-0 at home this season for the first time in school history for the Cougars.
While Texas Tech has gone on to notch lots of losing football seasons, Mike Leach has gone on to keep winning for the folks at Washington State. He just got profiled on ESPN. If you didn't see it, he's clearly one of a kind.
Dinosaurs, Apache Indians, Bigfoot,
Coyotes,
grizzly bears, fruitcake.
The fans already know Mike Leach got cheated by Texas Tech, and Tech knows it too. Again, quoting Mr. Wall, Texas Tech cannot and will not pay Mike Leach what Mike Leach thinks he is owed. Sure they can, they just don't want to. And maybe it's because Tech lost so much money in the Bernie Madoff scandal. Oh, they're keeping those records secret too. But Mr. Wall is really not just whining about us. We asked to see sexual harassment complaints on the Lubbock campus, and Tech is fighting the release of those records too. But wait till you see why. Listen closely. Quoting, "Since some of the subjects of the requested documents may have been fired or otherwise terminated, it's likely that they may have their own intention to embarrass TTU, and thus releasing these documents may expand the harassment from this requester." So let me get this straight, Mr. Wall. You're actually arguing to the parents out there who have teenage girls at Texas Tech that they don't have a fundamental right to know who the suspected weasels are that may right now be a threat to their daughters, because it could be embarrassing to Texas Tech University, a state university, paid for by taxpayers. So for me, a big who cares if it's embarrassing. This may have started because of the secrets of the Mike Leach case, but there's a lot more at stake now. Taxpayers, donors, parents, they should demand this nonsense end. And our friends at Texas Tech, well, they should stop crying about being transparent. It's not really that hard.